JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F123. But also, you can see by the title, we are actually going to be discussing about the release of F124, because I'm sure you saw from a few videos yesterday or some articles laying around, there was one in particular from Race Department that actually discussed that F124 could be releasing as early as May this year. And if we look at the F1 calendar, that means it could either be Miami, Monza, or the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, because typically they do it around Silverstone most of the time. And considering the rise of the US audience, Miami wouldn't really be a huge surprise if this was actually the weekend. This is actually the first weekend in May as well. So really, space of maybe just a couple of months, we could be getting our hands on a new F1 game. But the question is, and the question that a lot of people have been asking as well, including myself, is why so early? And I had a little bit of a digging, and I actually looked into the game's Steam performance compared to F1 22, which notoriously that game I think a lot of people didn't really enjoy, especially because of the traction aspect. It was quite horribly unrealistic, and even for experienced players such as myself, esport drivers as well, the traction was quite problematic and not really satisfying. If we take a look at F122, if this is talking about just Steam alone, so just the PC platform, so we're not talking about consoles, which could be a very, very different statistic. F122, there was over 700,000 purchases on Steam. In comparison to F123, there has only been 419,000, and yes, there hasn't been a full year since then, but I don't expect there's going to be another 300,000 purchases on Steam from now to F124. Also, F122 had a much higher gross revenue as expected of 30 million, whereas F123 has only had a gross revenue of 17 million, which isn't far away from actually being half. But I think one of the most important stats is the average play and median time is quite substantially different between F122 and F123, whereas F123, as you can see on the screen here, there was quite a significant drop on the average play and median time, which kind of says to me, and kind of the feeling I've been getting throughout the F123 game, which is kind of why myself I haven't really been playing too much. It's just getting to a stage now where we are just seeing the same thing over and over again. We've had the same game engine since I believe 2016 now. There hasn't really been a huge abundance of features been added. There hasn't been really any significant features or significant improvements really. And the game is actually costing more and more per year. It's actually £10 more on Steam, F123, than it was for F122. And I don't really see there's a warrant in that price increase. Which leads me to the conclusion that developers want to gain literally a bit of traction with this earlier release. So this video here is really just want to hear what you think, why this is, and most importantly, what you are expecting from F124. What do you want to see the most, and why do you think there is actually going to be quite a significant earlier release day compared to previous years? For me, F124 really does need to exceed expectations, because these stats alone really just show you that the community isn't fully satisfied. With a new game engine being rumoured since the Dirt Rally games have already received this from Codemasters, same company who make those, I really hope that it kind of revitalises what I feel is very much needed from the game, which are things such as the immersion, the stability, the multiplayer experience, a much more rewarding handling model that actually promotes great racing. I think again it's been too much of the same for a bit too long now. Please let me know what your thoughts are of this. Don't forget to check out my coaching over at www.coachlimitless.com. Also consider becoming a YouTube member by hitting that join button. You get access to all my setups for every single track, plus discounts on one-to-one coaching with me. And I will be catching you very, very soon. Peace.